Hey everybody, what's up? Dr. Ray here, and I'm coming to you live. It's been a solid month, which is really weird that I haven't been live for a solid month. That's kind of strange. I can't believe it's been that long. Um, yeah. So anyway, let's see stuff that I'm going to talk about today. So I want to update you guys on basically all the different things that have been going on. Everything that's new. It's been a kind of a crazy month. Lots of updates. I want to give you guys an update. I know I've been talking about my new house for a while, so I want to talk about that. We'll talk about some. Let's start out with like professional stuff and then get into more personal stuff so I can talk to y'all guys about, things going on in my life. So, alrighty, let's begin. So first of all, so school ended. So the last time I was on was like right when my semester was ending. So I was starting my summer session. So I was teaching two classes this summer, and those are actually finishing up next week. So I've been really, really busy. So let's talk about all the stuff I was busy with. So I had to finish up a research paper on time compression. We did this like meta analysis on. So if you're not familiar with time compression is like when you're listening to a podcast and you want to speed it up to like 1.5 times, or you're watching a video on YouTube and you're going to speed it up 1.5 times, that's time compression. So me and some other guy are the only two people in the world pretty much who do research on this topic. We've been doing the research since like 2007, and we've each done a number of studies. We've done studies together, and there have been a few other people that have contributed to the literature. So what we wanted to do is pull all those studies together and see what we could come up with. So we did a meta-analysis on that, and we just wrote up the results and submitted it. So that's kind of cool. So that's one of the big things I was working on. I also had like all these little projects to work on, which is kind of funny. Just like I kept getting all these little assignments like from work and stuff that I had to do, and I had to prep a new class, which took forever. So I had to get that done. But I'm at like a good point in the summer right now where I'm done with like all the big stuff that I have to do. So yeah, that's kind of exciting. I did get a new microphone. You can actually see it. Oh, can you see it? There we go. It's the Yeti X Mic. So I replaced my blue Yeti right here with the Yeti X. The cool thing about the Yeti X is that it's digital. You can see like the gain and everything is actually digital, which is pretty neat. So I do, and it's a little smaller than the original Blue Yeti, so I kind of like it a little better. So that's been exciting. I have been creating a few new videos. I created a video about, what are NFTs. I did create my own NFT. I talked about it in one of my previous videos, and I have created some new videos. I created a new video on features that I'd like to see on some of the new smart devices, which are, things that I'm always excited about. And I did a review for a company, the Game Agency. So this company, the Game Agency, they're owned by eLearning Brothers. And basically they contacted me. It's kind of a funny story. They contacted me over a year ago to do a YouTube review of their like they have like this game engine, and they wanted me to do a review of it, and then they decided the interface was going to be updated, so we had to wait. So it actually took a whole year for just the whole process to go through. And basically what they wanted me to do is review their interface and their software, which was kind of interesting and kind of fun, because I usually don't get companies asking me to do reviews. I just do them. So that was kind of cool, and it was a fun project to work on with them. They're owned by eLearning Brothers, so they're like that's a pretty big deal, pretty big company in the e-learning field. But it was cool to check out their product and what they did. And the most interesting thing about their company is, and I didn't know this, they're the only company that has the rights to use the word Jeopardy and the real Jeopardy music and Jeopardy game. And you think about it in e-learning, how many people are stealing that and just using it anyway. But yeah, they're the real, like if you want to use it in corporate or professional, you have to actually use their product, which I didn't know. And they also have the rights to Wheel of Fortune, which they recently acquired. So that was really interesting and something that I thought was kind of fun and kind of cool. So esports wise, so let's get into esports and some instructional tech stuff and some things that I've been paying attention to. So esports wise, so first of all, we are finishing up. So we had a summer camp. Our goal for the summer camp was for 2 weeks. It was actually put on by some high school students, which was pretty cool. And I was kind of like help facilitate and give them ideas and feedback and all that stuff. So we put on the summer camp. The summer camp was on Rocket League, and basically the way the camp ran was that we would spend 1 hour going through like some kind of content with them about like leadership, communication, and then we would spend 2 hours actually playing Rocket League, like in tournaments or looking at strategies and stuff. And our goal for the camp was to have 10 students this year, because this was kind of like a pilot session. Like, we didn't know what we were doing whatsoever. This was kind of like a pilot session. So we didn't know what we were doing. And we ended up getting around 16 students signed up, which was pretty cool. And also my son signed up, so I can talk about a little bit about his experience with the camp. But the camps went really well. There's a different number of students in, so not all the students come each day, because like, just for an example, my son had to skip 1 or 2 days because he like had sports after school or something like that. So there's things like that happening, but since it's online, it's really easy to manage that. So having an online camp makes it very easy to manage like different numbers of people each day. But my son is like obsessed with it. And today's the final day of the camp. It's the last day, so he's kind of bummed that today's the last day of the esports camp. But it was really cool, and for the people who participated, I think they had a pretty good time. I know it seems like everyone did really well who was helping lead it, and it was a pretty cool experience. I'm glad that we put it on, and glad that we learned a lot of lessons from it. We had done a lot of things correctly, but the things we didn't do correctly were kind of fun. Like, I think one of the things we did, like reflecting on the camp, I think and I'll do a whole video on just the camp, but one of the things we didn't do correctly is I think we need to use more games than just Rocket League. I think we need to branch out and have more games. I think we need to do maybe 2 or 3 days of a game, then 2 or 3 days of another game. I'm also not sure about the live sessions, the learning sessions. I think we can probably shorten those to from 60 to maybe 30 minutes and then do gameplay. I think the students really liked the tournaments, and they really liked when they were getting coached. So I think that those were kind of the fun aspects of it. And even the students that really weren't in the Rocket League, like my son's he likes Rocket League, but it's like not his favorite game in the world. But he still really got into Rocket League for the tournament. I think for him, it's having like big kids who are older, like tell him what to do. He thinks it's pretty cool and fun. So he definitely liked and enjoyed that. So yeah, the camp was pretty cool. A couple of my students got to help out with it. And yeah, it was fun. Overall, camp was good. I'm really proud of my students for doing a good job on it. So yeah, that's the camp. Other things going on in esports, which are kind of cool. So the FaZe clan is going to be on the cover of Sports Illustrated, which is kind of neat. Not that I care, I don't consider esports sports, so not that I care too much about what's happening, but any recognition esports gets is good, right? I mean, it's any publicity is good publicity, so having it come from the sports world is kind of cool. So I'm excited about that. So yeah, that's pretty neat. And I am excited for the virtual portion of the Olympics too, which will, I've talked about that in other videos. Won't feature any normal esports games, but does feature things like Zwift, which I'm excited to see. So I am excited for the Summer Olympics that's going to have that. All right, let's get onto some ID stuff, because that's and I'll talk about like games I'm playing, because my games have switched around a little bit, so I'll talk about that when I get into more personal stuff. But so ID stuff. So I've had some time to reflect on ID stuff over the last few weeks, because that's what I do when I'm winding down. I reflect on things. So I did a video on instructional design models, and basically what that video was, I noticed my students who are finishing, like during their final capstone project, which is like their final culminating project that they put together, they have trouble figuring out how do you use all of these models together. How do you use instructional design models together? And I see this like in the training field as well, that a lot of people have problems. Just, it's like this big picture just is not making sense. And what I mean is, like, there's this model ADDIE, which is like the popular model that people use to kind of guide the design of their instruction. But then there are all these little models that you use within that. And I think people miss that when you develop instruction, you probably use like 5 to 10 different models throughout different parts of that. And they're not quite sure how those models work together. There's no good organization structure of them really out there for people. And so I did create a video to kind of help with that. And I hope that video is helpful for people. It's helpful for me just to think about the field and think about it myself. So I do want people to, get that kind of stuff, which is why I created a video on it. So I've been reflecting on the field. Also, the other thing that's really interesting that I'm finding in instructional design, and this is mostly on the instructional design subreddit, which is a really strange place. I think it's a strange place because there's like graphic designers in there, there's web developers, there's all people with all kinds of different fields in there. But one of the most interesting things that I find about that forum in particular is this big push to not get trained in instructional design. So these are people who they want as a job to convince people that they need to be trained on whatever it is. Like, they go into a company and like, I'm going to train you on how to use like your accounting software, whatever it is, that's literally their job, is to convince people that they need to be trained. In this forum, there's a big push to not be trained themselves in instructional design. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. It's like, it's very strange. You would think, as someone who's going to train people professionally as a job, that our field should have like the biggest like requirement that, like, yes, you need to be trained, you need to meet these competencies, right, to be an instructional designer. We don't have any. In fact, it's the 100% opposite. People in that forum will be like, you know what, just go to YouTube, look up some instructional design stuff, you're covered. You know what, anyone can put together a pretty portfolio, like a few different projects. Just get together, like create something in like Articulate or Captivate, which are really easy to use. My 10-year-old could use them to create something nice. Just build something like that, and you're going to go out and you're going to be successful and get a good job. That's the mindset in there. And I keep thinking to myself, you're literally going to go convince people that they need to be trained, but you actually don't think that people should be trained to do this. Like, it's like me going into a company and saying, you know what, you want to train people how to use this accounting software. There's probably some YouTube videos out there that talk about the accounting software. Just go watch those videos and figure out the rest yourself. You'll be fine. Like, imagine if I told a company that. But that's what instructional designers tell each other. It baffles my mind that that's the mindset in there. I cannot figure out that subreddit whatsoever. I very rarely comment in it, so you're not going to see my comments in there. If you ever see me on Reddit, I either use my full name, Ray Pastore Ph.D., or my gamer tag name, Jiu-Jitsu Ph.D. One of those two. So that's when you'll see me in there. But I very, very rarely ever comment. But I read the comments, and I'm always baffled by the discussion taking place in there. I just cannot figure it out. I wonder who these people are making these claims and saying this stuff. So anyway, that's what's happening in ID world. Let's talk about some other things. So I am going to get back to my YouTube interviews. I kind of took off a little bit just because these aren't something I want to do like every day or something. Those interviews are a lot of work. So I'm going to go through phases where I do them and then don't do them. So I think I did 5 interviews last semester. So I'm going to try to do a couple this summer. I have some people in mind that I need to ask. They haven't approved yet, but I think they'll be kind of cool people to interview. So I've got some people in mind I'm going to ask, and I'm going to do that soon. It's like on top of my mind. Just got a lot of other stuff going on. Okay, let's get into personal stuff, like the fun stuff. How am I doing on time here? How long have I been talking for? 15 minutes. Perfect. That's perfect time to get into personal stuff. So let's see. So one of the reasons I haven't done videos in a while. So first of all, I went away. We randomly decided to take a trip to see my parents because we hadn't seen them in a while, and we thought it might be one of our only trips this summer. So we did get away. We went to Chincoteague Island, Virginia to see my parents, and my parents have a house there, and we saw them for only like 4 or 5 days. It was pretty quick. But during that trip, so my son, Huntington, he's 5. So my son, River, earlier that week had been sick. But then he was like better pretty quick, and we go away. We thought we were like good with the sickness, and my son, Hunt, so my two sons, so there's like 2 bedrooms for me and my kids there. Like we have, me and my wife have a bedroom, my kids have a bedroom. So the 2 older boys are sleeping on the bed, and my other son, Hunt, who's 5, is on the floor. He prefers the floor because they could all fit in this. It's like a giant bed, so they could all fit in the bed, but he just prefers the floor. So he sleeps on the floor. He comes in our room around midnight, and he's crying, and he's like, my head hurts. It was stuck under the bed. I need help. My head hurts, and I need a drink of water. So we're like, okay. So we're like, come and lay in bed with us. We don't want you on the floor because we don't want you getting your head stuck under the bed. Like, is that even possible? He literally like moved and got his head stuck under the bed. So we don't know. We get him a drink of water, blah, blah, blah. So we wake up in the morning. He's in the bed with us. And he sneezes literally in, like, he's right here. He sneezes in my nose and mouth, like, and eyes, like sneezes. I was like, huh, you can't sneeze. And I'm just thinking like he sneezed because of the, the sun or something like that in his eyes in the room in the morning or something like that. My wife feels his head after the sneeze and says, huh, you're kind of warm. Takes his temperature, sure enough, it's like 100 something. And I'm like, did you really just sneeze in my mouth? So anyway, we realized he probably didn't really get his head stuck. He probably had a dream about it, and his head hurt. And the reason he wanted a drink is because his throat was sore. All right, so he has a fever all day long of like 100, but he's okay, kind of. I mean, we know he just has a cold. It's not COVID. We had our other son tested, so we knew like what it wasn't, and we knew it wasn't flu or COVID. It was literally just a head cold. So that night, so now we're like 12, 14 hours later, I am eating ice cream because there's an ice cream place like across the street from my parents' house, and I noticed that when I actually had a milkshake, and I don't usually eat that kind of stuff, but I have it when I'm away. And anyway, I was drinking the ice cream. It was really cold, and I thought like, man, I burnt my throat on the ice cream because it was so cold. I wake up the next day, and I got a little sore throat. And I was like, oh my God. Maybe it's just scratchy. I kind of get allergies when I'm there, and I was like, it's not a big deal. There is good surf that day, so I'm in the water surfing, salt and all that stuff in your throat, so whatever. That by that night, full on sore throat, starting to get a stuffy nose. I couldn't sleep that night. My throat felt like it was on fire. Fortunately, the sore throat went away by the next day, but man, I just had the worst runny nose. The following night, I actually had a low-grade fever, and I was sick for like a solid 4 days. It was not fun. I'm still stuffy from the runny nose, which was now 2 weeks ago. So that's one of the reasons I haven't been on. Basically, that whole week was shot for me. I was sick. It really, 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 really sucked to be sick on vacation and with my parents and stuff like that, because I don't want to get them sick and stuff. We knew it wasn't COVID, but it's still like a sickness. Fortunately, no one else got it, but I had it, and it was not fun. So yeah, I was sick, and Hunt was literally better after like 12 hours because kids are just like, boom, I'm better, but like I wasn't. For me, it was like a much longer process, so I'm still stuffy from it, so I was not better. So we did that. Other updates. So I have slowly transitioned away from playing Call of Duty. I did play it for, I can't believe how long I played it. Like, it's been a really long time. We're talking like December, January, February, March, April, May, like a solid 6 months. I'm moving away from League of Legends. So I'm slowly like stopping playing it. I guess I just kind of get over it. And what I've been back to is League of Legends, and I've been slowly playing some ARAM every night, and I'm also gonna start playing normals again and probably ranked eventually. So I think what I'm gonna do. So I did support last season. I think what I want to do this season is top, and I've done top before. I've done every position before. Actually, last season was the first one I ever did support. But I'm going to go to top, and I think I'm going to play Malphite, if you're familiar with the game. I think I want to main Malphite this year. I'm not sure who my secondary players are going to be. I do like Nautilus top, but people get kind of annoyed when you play them in rank, depending on the team makeup, because they expect me to like be able to carry, and Nautilus is more of like a support carry. He's great for team fights though, because he just doesn't die and he can initiate well. He just can't get kills and can't take a tower at all, whereas Malphite can do some of that better. So I'm thinking about a Malphite, maybe a Tryndamere, depending on matchups. Maybe a Maokai could be my top, champs that I want to get good at. So that's kind of fun. The other game I've been playing tons is I've been using the Oculus Quest and playing tons of Beat Saber. That game is a freaking blast, man. It is a lot of fun. So I never really got into it because I would always just do like the solo and like pick a song and try it. But I started playing the campaign. In the campaign, I actually did really well and started to get much better at the game. And I'm really high up in the campaign right now. I'm almost close to finishing it. I have like not many more things to finish it. Like if I beat like 5 levels, it's done. Like I'm real four levels and it's done. Like I'm really close to finishing Beat Saber. And so that's kind of cool. I've been playing it a lot. So yeah, I've been trying to be more active and not sit in front of the computer so much. And so Beat Saber like gets me up, like moving my arms and stuff. So that's one of the reasons that I've been doing that a lot. So I've been playing Beat Saber a lot. If you're not familiar with the Quest or Beat Saber, look it up. Definitely a fun game. Yeah, so that's what I've been doing as far as like my gameplay. That's what I've been playing a lot. I've been trying to slowly so what I like to do in the summer is like slowly stop doing work. So usually what I do is I try to get to a point where I'm only doing about like 2 to 3 hours of work per day. Right now I'm doing about 6 to 8, and I need to transition out of that this month because by July I want to be at the point where I'm doing like 2 hours max per day. Because July is like my downtime, my off time, and I really need that off time this year. So I've almost prepped my second summer class. It's almost done. Once that's done, that's all the big stuff off my plate for the summer. So I'm slowly doing that transition, and that leads me into what I'm doing today. So today I'm actually we're going to a water park with our kids. The kids finished school. Yesterday was their last day of school, so it's kind of like a big treat for them. We're taking them to a water park. We never do stuff like this. So they're going to have a blast. They're going to get to go to the water park, and, they're excited. It's Hunt's birthday this weekend, so he has a birthday party Sunday. My parents are going to be coming into town. We're going to be showing my parents the house. So the house is we're so close to it being done. I mean, when I say so close, like I've gotten the insurance, I have my mortgage rate locked in. We got a closing date of 7/23. The problem is they told us it's it's a temporary closing date or like a guesstimate closing date because there's there's lots of supply issues with COVID. So people building houses are having all kinds of problems. So the house looks like it's built, like there's walls and like there's cabinets now, and like it's like built, like they're like wrapping up doing all the details, right? Like it's painted, there's a garage door, like the driveways, they just paved the driveway, so like it's like getting there. So I'm like pretty excited. I'm a little nervous about the price of the house because I don't know how I'm paying for it. Well, I do know how I'm paying for it. So I'm renting out my current house, which will be my second rental. And hopefully the profit that I make from the rent will help pay for my new house. And yeah, that's kind of, it's a little nerve wracking, and renting a house is just a huge risk and kind of scary. So, and there's a lot of work I have to do to this house before I rent it. Like, we got to redo our downstairs carpeting. I got to go to Lowe's and pick out carpeting to have redo like the living room carpet, because it's just destroyed from my kids. I need to have the house painted. I've been like just getting everything ready, and it's a lot of work, and it's fun and cool when it all works out, but it's a big risk and it's really scary. So I'll just leave it at that having a rental is a lot of work and it's scary. So yeah, I've been just nervous and stressed about that a little bit. So the other thing is, I really did not want to move in July. I really wanted to be moved in. I wanted to be moving right now, like today, beginning of June, because I wanted to have summer there. Like, first of all, we want our kids to meet the other kids on the street. We want them to get used to the house before school starts. Like, we want them to be used to where they are. So, it's a little going to be a crazy time in that June. I also hope like this all happens before I need to start getting ready for my fall semester. Like, I'm all moved in and set by that time. So that needs to happen. And yeah, so right now the plan is the kids this is their first day of summer. So our summer has been only 5 weeks long because the kids have been in year-round school. So this year our summer is going to be like a normal school summer, like a normal 12-week summer for kids, because they are attending a new school. They're attending Surf City schools next year. So they're going to be in new schools, and we're going to be we're not year round anymore. We're normal school calendar. So this is their first summer they really get like that. We kind of had it with COVID last year because everything was online, but they're used to these 5-week summers. So this is going to be a long one. So our plans are lots of beach and lots of pool. So we usually go to the beach every Sunday for family. We call it Family Beach Day. It's like our thing. But I want to start going one other time a week, like Wednesdays maybe, and do Family Beach Day 2 days a week. Lots of pool with the kids. And I'm trying to get out and surf more, because I have a really bad habit of being too lazy. I should have went this morning, but I didn't go because we're going to this water park. So that's one thing. But like, I need to try to go definitely surf more. So hopefully I'll get to go tomorrow. I did get to go last weekend a bunch, 2 or 3 times. So hopefully I'm going to get to go tomorrow. So that'll be cool. But, it's nice out. It's summer. It's summer. I need to get in the summer mindset, get away from this computer. So that's probably my cue to go right now. And cause I need to be off the computer. We're going to the water park soon. I need to get ready for that. All right, everybody. I'll be on. I'm going to try to start doing some more updates, and because I know I didn't do one. It was like a whole month, but I'm going to come on, do some more live stuff, and hopefully have some interviews coming up soon, which I haven't scheduled yet, so I don't want to make any promises, but it is in the back of my mind that I want to get some cool ones. I have some cool ideas of people I want to interview done, and yeah, that's it, everybody. So have a good day. Have a good rest of your week. Today's Friday, so have a good weekend. Or if you're watching this another day, whatever. Have a good week the week you're watching this. And yeah, later, everybody.